Alright everyone, welcome to Zelda Speedruns. We're about to have a Zelda 2 Randomizer race. That's for Swiss Round 2, I believe. I'm gonna lead you up with Star and Jackimus, who are gonna be joining me in Comstate. So, good luck and have fun. Enjoy the race.
Thanks for the introduction, Pogi. As mentioned, I am Jackimus Wedge. Tonight I am joined on commentary by Star1468. How are you doing tonight, Star?
Doing pretty good. Yes, it is round 4. It's alright. Don't blame. It's Pokey's first restream. Shout out though. As well as to our tracker Jinxie Girl behind the scenes. As we have here Xarnax versus AmazingToaster, round 4. They are both 2-1. The winner of this will secure a spot in brackets. The loser has one final chance next week to move on.
And I think we're going to be in for a treat of a race here tonight. Xarnax and Toast are both two of the very primo runners of this randomizer. So I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how they go at each other here tonight. And who emerges victorious and what shenanigans they both get up to on the way there.
Indeed, I see Zero Wing posted his customary shaking pom-poms in chat. Hello, as well as to everyone else. Hammer and glove pom-poms, apparently. I wonder what that means.
Well, the glove, I just think about one of those large foam #1 hands that you see at sports games. As far as the hammer goes, I have no idea.
I don't either. The Zero Wing just seems to like to spout off random items for those pom-poms. Hey, we're going, and we have a camera next to start, which is back in Asaria.
Yep, back of Lifetown it is. Cave is just the opposite end of Jump Cave. Not too interesting just yet.
Nope, we have another item cave here for Xarnax.
We do. Toaster wandered into a pass-through cave, which was most likely the opposite end of Graveyard based on the enemy placement. And, Xarnax just went through the...
but not the pass-through, and is now in Rudo on the southern coast, it looks like.
Yep, nothing doing for getting a spell here, but hints do exist on these flags. As,
they do.
Toaster takes an axe to the face. Not very pleasant. Those Darias can be quite nasty early on before you have any experience levels. And from the sounds of it, from that hint, Death Mountain is where we're going to find the trophy for whatever spell might be hidden inside Jumptown.
Indeed. We spot another town here, Toaster, which is Lido.
Nothing doing there yet without a fairy or a jump spell or that water of life. Toast has found an entrance to Death Mountain. Only one cave to access, and it's a pass-through, not the Hammer Cave. Palace for Toast, and it's Palace #1.
Indeed.
Toast is electing to start over rather than try to get through Palace 1 on key luck alone. Respectable decision for sure.
Oh, for sure. Xarnax finding the flute is in the east.
Not...
And Rauru.
The hint could be alright, but it's not the item that you're typically looking for most of the time. There's only a couple of things that can be blocked by the flute, and the vast majority of the time they are not. However, if Three-Eyed Rock does exist, that means flute's required, so knowing that it's somewhere on east might help Xarnax out just a little bit here.
Indeed. Oh, we have spotted a front end of Saria near the raft tile.
We've got Xarnax and Shield Town right about to get a spell here. The most powerful magic, so it's the Thunder spell for Xarnax.
That it is in Rauru. I know the towns by actual names and not so much the spells you get from them in vanilla, I'll admit. Helmet Head has a magic jar. Toaster in Saria.
Well, that means there's a magic container inside Palace 2. Might be useful knowledge because magic containers can block an item inside.
Indeed. Also, we saw, I believe that was P2 in Rauru. Kind of a dark reddish color.
Well, we've got
Fairy Toaster.
Lifetown. So that's big news for Toast. Fairy can let you fly through locked doors. Xarnax finds the boots inside of Stonehenge. Boots very useful for fast overworld travel and can be required depending on the way the map is generated. There's a raft tile just to the east of Lifetown. You can already see Xarnax making some use out of those boots. Gonna just say, nah, there's no need for me to go into an action square on that bridge.
Oh, for sure. And okay, heading back in the direction of E1 and Mida, looks like, which are a lot easier to get to from start with those boots. They're just across that little lake there.
Absolutely, Star. And in Xarnax's case, has not seen either the dungeon or the town just yet. Xarnax knows that this is Palace 1, electing not to go in right away because there's a town right there.
Yeah.
Xarnax thinking about it, and looks like Xarnax is at least going to top off his health, keeps going into town, so probably going to try to fish for a quick hint here, I would say.
It does look like it.
And the hint in this town is of absolutely no use to Xarnax because he already has the boots that were in the west, as the slim man in that house told him.
Yep, thanks, game! Toaster is now south of the river here, is finding Rauru and P2.
Yep. Looks like the medicine's going to be the east, based on the hint Xarnax just picked up.
Alright.
Error knows nothing in this seed. Unfortunate. Toast's gonna quickly refill his life bar, and within the next 30 seconds or so, Toast is going to be the proud caster of a nice, fancy thunder spell.
Yep. I should note, we don't actually have the trophy. We know where the trophy is, unmarking that on our tracker. As Toaster picks up thunder.
Well, we don't know exactly where a trophy is, but there's only two places it can be. It's either in Hammer Cave or under Spectacle Rock. That little kid knows nothing. Sounds about right. In my experience, kids don't know a whole lot. Unless they're my kid, she's extremely smart. Just saying. Looks like we have Palace 5 there.
Oh, was that P5? I thought it was P2 earlier. I thought I saw Xarnax get his red jar out of that statue earlier.
Nope. Nothing from the statue, and the totem is the 2-5 totem, ergo it is 5.
Okay, I thought I saw a red jar for... No, that's me. I thought I saw a red jar for Xarnax, that's why.
Xarnax in a rough spot here between a Guri and a Moblin, is able to escape by the skin of his teeth.
Mm-hmm.
We've got another town for Xarnax, so this is
the Saria.
Front
we have seen
the trophy. Amazing Toaster gets the hint as well. I am sorry, Star. I talk too much. Go right ahead.
Oh, I tend to do the same. We've seen all 4 towns in the west, is what I was going to say. We're only missing one palace, which I suspect is in the northern half of things. We haven't actually seen the northern half of say yet, although it's a little hard to say. What exactly is the...
I don't believe... No,
a little hard to distinguish. Yeah, I mean, it's a little hard to distinguish sometimes, but there are generally 2 halves to each continent, north and south. What the separation is between those 2 halves is a little hard to tell. I'm not entirely sure what the separation is. There's usually some fairly distinct difference, be it a hammer rock or a river or something. Or just a really obnoxious bridge or something like that that separates 2 halves of the map, but I don't... Although, I guess this bridge might be it.
Obnoxious bridge, you can at least ignore it with the boots, and it looks like this is going to grant access to the northern half of the continent. We can already see one cave blocked by a boulder, so there's at least one item that is hidden behind the hammer. Xarnax, who's been bleeding out all over the place, finally takes a death.
Yep. Toaster
past this red Dara and does, but now Toast is not looking too healthy.
Well, nice 1,000-point P-bag. Dropping off one of the enemies there.
Absolutely. Hard to argue with that very early on. Xarnax can basically customize his early levels at will here. Looks like he's going to go attack 3, magic 2, life 2. Sorry, life 3. The points are still ticking up. Not quite enough for magic 3 as well, but 3, 2, 3 early on is pretty nice. Meanwhile, Toast level-wise is at 2, 3, 2.
Indeed, so fairly similar levels for them at the moment. Toaster heading back to P1 and Mito, it looks like. Xarnax is going to check out this cave here first. Nope.
It's I believe that's the same pass-through cave that Xarnax went through earlier, so I'm thinking Xarnax just ducked in there to restart the encounter spawn rate. Go west to find it. Toast gets the hint.
He actually hasn't seen those yet. Yeah. Toaster hasn't actually gotten the boots were near P2 and Rauru. Yeah,
no, has not, but with that fairy spell in tow, is going to go pick up the downstab and make combat a lot easier very early on here. Less than 10 minutes to jump stab is, well, it's always nice. Magic container for Xarnax inside of Vanilla Heart Container Cave here on the northern side of the western continent. Indeed.
This is what the describing location name sounds like in D2, by the way, is which continent is it? Which half of it, and where is it in that half?
Well, in some cases, it's a little bit more descriptive than, say, Final Fantasy I, where everything is a cave.
That's fair. No, it's literally like, alright, it's the southwest corner of the northern half of the eastern continent, for example, is a perfect description of this location.
Yep. Well, we've got Xarnax doing a dip into Death Mountain here. I mean, not necessarily a bad play. We know the trophies here. Reflect spell still at large. It is one of the 3 required spells to finish the game off here, so not necessarily a bad play early on, and possibly the raft's still at large as well, so who knows where that is. Toast, meanwhile, is going to just go right back to Palace 1. That fairy spell in tow, Magic 3 makes it castable, so locked doors less of an issue for Toast.
Indeed, this Death Mountain is extremely open-ended today, at least, so it doesn't have to take too many passers to get around here.
At least from this entrance. The first entrance we saw via Toast just led to one single pass-through cave, so not the most inviting way to start a Death Mountain on that side.
No, but this one looks a fair bit nicer. I mean, there's still a lot of segments, but at least there's one ginormous area that has like 10 caves in it. Although, I haven't seen Spectral Rock yet, I don't think, and I think, yep, Xarnax is calling it quits for the moment.
Not a bad choice. I mean,
he did all the convenient caves, and none of those turned up his camera caves, or a Spectral Rock.
There's going to be some sort of pass-through shenanigans required, and even then, it'd be a shame to find Spectral Rock this early when you don't have the hammer to just bump it off and get whatever's underneath.
Oh yeah.
For Xarnax, Toast's about to get the item inside Palace 1 here. It's a pea bag that Toast can't even pick up in that fairy form. Unfortunate. Xarnax finds the glove inside Trophy Cave. That is the big item in this randomizer, folks. So you always want to see that as early as possible.
Yeah, kind of in the northwest corner of the west.
Just about as north as you can possibly get on the western continent, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm writing down, that location. Again, Z2R item locations, because the maps are randomized, just sound kind of ridiculous no matter what you do. It's in the northwest corner of the northern half of the western continent. Hey, any key, right near it.
Another nice pickup for Xarnax. He gets the any key. Where's the any key? Well, it's inside Vanilla Magic Container Cave.
Yeah, not too far actually from the, kind of more in the middle, I suppose, in the north. A little bit northwest of the ridge.
Because it's looking more and more like some dungeon delving might be required to pick up that raft. What an interesting seed this would be if the raft was hidden somewhere inside that abysmal Palace 5.
Oh my goodness. We have seen Glove, we have gotten the Any Key and Fairy. It's actually not a ridiculous idea. We also want to find our last palace here on the west. It's gotta be up here in the north somewhere. I'm pretty sure we've seen the entire southern half.
Exactly. Chances are good it's going to be on the most northeastern part of the map.
Oh, there it is.
No, there it is right here. More on the more north central part of the map, and it is.
Okay, there's B2. Orange-ish today.
Yeah. Well, personally, I can't quite tell the difference in color between Palace 2 and Palace 5 in this seed, but I can see. Oh my lord, the Dripper enemy. The Dripper enemy is worth 500
Oh my
points.
god!
Xarnax is going to get swole here
Oh my
if he
God.
so decides.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous, because these are one-shot by nature of being Dripper enemies, and they give 500 points apiece.
Look at all those blue drops falling. That's 500 points a shot. Oh my lord, Xarnax is going to be burning all the gems in the world. He's already at levels 5, 3, 4, and hasn't placed a single gem yet.
This is insane. He could easily hit 888 if he cared to.
This is a pretty generous seed so far, I have
my
to say,
God.
Star.
I agree with you. At this point, the trophy seriously might not even be required.
There's still quite a few towns that Reflect Spell could be in, and there's still a chance that it could be tied to the Fire Spell as well.
It could. We have not seen any of the E's.
Horse head down pretty quickly for Toaster, so Toast's gonna place his first gem here momentarily.
Yeah, but between the 1,000-point P bags we've seen drop now and then, and those 500-point P bag, so we've got a free in terms of experience. None of these runners particularly need it, but they have all the levels they could ever want.
Yeah, Toast takes attack level 4 and calls it a day from there.
Makes sense.
That's the right play as far as he knows, but we know there's 500-point drippers inside Palace 2 and by proximity also Palace 5. So, well, as it so happens, you can probably burn every single gem in this seed and still be at a very comfortable 6-5-6-ish level by the end.
Easily. If you really care to, you could. I don't think 888 would be the most annoying thing in the world, to be honest. Like, because Xarnax is just gonna grind up levels here, it looks like a bit. Picking up another 500 point.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I don't think Xarnax necessarily needs to grind the levels, but just wants to get over the threshold so that if he, once he finds Helmet Head and defeats him and places the gem, he's going to get the maximum amount of experiences. Perhaps the play here.
I mean, he's 2 drippers from getting another level.
Yeah, basically. so you never know. There's more than just that one room with drippers inside Palace 2, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Toast has found Medicine Cave. This is a new one for us. We didn't see Xarnax enter here yet, so we'll just have to see what is lurking at the back here. I hope
Indeed,
for
also,
I hope for
Xarnax-
Toast that it's the raft, because that would put both of our runners on a very different pace, but alas, it is just a heart container. Quality of life item, nothing more.
yeah, but I do think it might mean we've seen all of the item caves. I know I've seen Glove and any key, and I think one of the other caves is just a magic jar. Plus the cave Toaster just found, so yeah.
Well, the other cave on the Xarnax getting trolled a bit by those blocks, but has the gloves, so who cares?
He couldn't care.
Yeah. But there is still one cave at large in the west, and there is a boulder in front of it, so...
Oh right, no, there's still one. Oops.
Exactly. Well, there's some more drippers in this room for Xarnax, potentially. Not that first one over the lava, but this second one.
He just got a 500 pointer for just a random enemy, I think.
Yeah, just a random, so I don't think he's too concerned at this point. He's only 300 points away from the level. I'm pretty sure Helmet Head would, on average, give that much or more on his own. Vanilla
And
is-
he's already got and he's down to 200 now with a 70 drop off another
here's
enemy.
Trophy Cave for Toaster, so Toaster's gonna pick up that glove momentarily.
And the ending key isn't too far. Yeah, that's what the glove is for Pogi too. Yeah, where a key should be sounds about right. Zero Wing. This seed's been ridiculous for experience. These runners, not that they need it to begin with, but they really don't need it more than they already need it. I guess you meant I don't think a P2 and P5 are that difficult to distinguish. I don't know. One's orange, the other's dark red to me.
Toast finds the other entrance to Death Mountain. Unlike Xarnax, thought about it, went back, but went back out. Not going to take a look around. Instead, is going to go to Vanilla Heart Container Cave. We know the any key is at the back of here, so that's a great pickup for Toast here. Toast currently with a 1-gem lead over Xarnax, although Xarnax has seen the vast majority of Palace 2 at this point.
Finding a dead end just now, but yeah,
much
he's...
longer for Xarnax to at least finish Palace 2 out here, so hard to say who's in front here, but we've got both a very generous seed and a very interesting race so far, Star.
Indeed. We know the item in P2 is dead. P1 turned up at P-Tag, which leaves the
Another
P5
pointer for
item.
Xarnax. The experience is just dripping all over everyone on this seed.
This is insane. He's at attack 6 at 19 minutes. I'm sorry, but attack 6 at 19 minutes is just ridiculous.
I think at this point, if Xarnax elects to actually take the experience from the gem here, we have no choice but to get on his case at the end of this race. And no, that's exactly what it's going to do here. It's defensible, but do you really need attack level 7 in one of these randomizers? Is it really that much of an advantage over attack 6? I always thought that attack 6 was the sweet spot. Feel free to disagree with me, but Xarnax is going to go attack 7. And Xarnax, of course, going to turn around here. Maybe a more savvy play than I gave him credit for, because after all, Xarnax has not found the item here in Palace 2 yet. And there is
Unfortunately, he doesn't know it's a magic jar.
Always required wrap.
Yeah.
Except we know that it's a magic container.
Not that Xarnax knows it.
No,
Also, it
you are
looks a
quite
little
right.
more-
I think it was only Toast that got that hint.
It's not marked on Xarnax's tracker at any rate. Toaster finding P2 now, which is a distinctly browner on his end. Okay, usually the differences in color aren't that drastic between runners, but this is pretty ridiculous.
It looks to me like Toast is streaming in a much smaller resolution than Xarnax, so I imagine that has something to do with it. And in fact, looking at Toast's stream as he's moving through the rooms, those tiny bricks are making me just a little bit nauseous, not going to
I
lie.
agree with you, they are rippling, kind of, is what it appears to be, and it's a little... The only reason I can tell this is P2 and not P5 is because it's too light to be P5, even with this drastic graphical differences, it's not that nutty. It's still, even with the ridiculous graphical dark versus a very dark shade of reddish versus a lighter orange, I'm pretty sure it's still the one to here. Yeah, the rippling bricks is just kind of black. Hi Victor, by the way. Yeah, this seed is being stupidly generous with experience. They've got 1,000 P bags we've got 1,000 point P bags everywhere. We've got 500 point drippers. Just generally, this is ridiculous. No, this is our early race tonight, Mimi fan. Unless you do it funsies, yeah.
Well, Toast making pretty rapid progress through Palace 2 has just found out finally that the Dripper enemy is worth 500 points. We'll see if Toast elects to do any power leveling here. Toast already passed the elevator room with the 2 Drippers. There's another one there, but Toast massively heading towards the left here, more concerned about the item than clearing out the dungeon so far. Xarnax elected to take him up an A. Little bit more of a trek maybe than Xarnax was thinking to get to some of the other directions, but well, based on Xarnax's having seen most of the palace, we can assume that Toaster is on the right track to find the item, because they are both in the exact same room right now.
Yeah.
Toast picked up a cool 500 points.
Yeah, they're picking up points everywhere with the seed. Hi,
Yeah.
Chromaticalism,
And
GG's.
you know what? Xarnax was actually in this glove-blocked room earlier.
He was.
But
He
it
just
elected
chose.
not to go through, was perhaps more concerned with finding the boss at first. Ooh, gets taken down by that
Ooh.
blue iron knuckle. Nasty, nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep in mind here that Xarnax does not have downstab yet, whereas Toast does. Definitely advantage for Toast getting through what looks to be a sequence of nasty rooms with all those blue iron knuckles all over Hell's Creation.
Yeah.
Toast says, nuts to that, I'm gonna be a fairy and just fly over you guys.
Screw
See
you.
guys, I am going home. Xarnax does the same. It is
Yep.
the item room for Toast. It will be the item room for Xarnax.
I'm not even sure what Toast
That's
went for this,
fair.
knowing it's a magic jar, I'll be honest.
Well, the thing is, Toast hasn't found the path to the boss yet, so knowing that there's a magic jar in there and that there's potentially an important item blocked inside of Spelltown, maybe not a bad idea to go for the item before going for the boss.
And that is true. The most recent race I commentated had Go Mode magic containers in P4 and P1. P1 being in Valley of Death, P4 without Reflect, I should note. Get to New Kasuto for trophy, I think? One of the items to get in New Kasuto to then 7 magic containers, 2 of which were in P4 and Valley of Death P1, to then go the 8th one is who knows where. Toss it between P5, P6, and Hammer Cave were the 3 options for the remaining magic container.
Can certainly exist, Star.
Yeah, and that was to
Xarnax
get Reflect.
picks
Like, he
up
had to.
the heart container inside of Medicine Cave and takes up an A. So at this point, based on what we've seen, the remaining locations for the raft are under Spectacle Rock, behind the rock-blocked cave, inside of
In the north
sorry,
here.
on the north part, inside Palace 5, or in Death Mountain. However, one of the 2 items in Death Mountain is guaranteed to be that trophy. So
And we don't know if
I'm
it's Hammer
thinking-
Cave or
I'm
Spectacle
thinking there's
Rock.
a very likely chance that we're going to have to do an early Palace 5 to even get to the Eastern Continent at this point.
I agree with you, Jack Mace. I think we are at that point where this is probably the most sensible play left. Toaster about to get his second deposit. Deposit. This is a runs I usually
Well, from
make
the looks of it,
sense.
Xarnax is thinking along the same lines that we are. This is inside of Palace 5 right now.
Oh, nope. Nopey.
Nope,
Noping out.
nope, he's gone. Nope, he's gone. And it's gone. Helmet head down for Toast, so in a moment that's going to be gem numero dos.
Yeah, I hope this ripple effect doesn't apply to all his palaces, but I suspect it will, so... look, I apologize to sensitive to flashing, because his stream's gonna be kind of terrible whenever he is in a palace, it looks like.
I think we'll be fine from here. Those little teeny tiny bricks are the absolute worst.
Oh my god, that's just terrible. But bricks like the ones in P1 here for Xarnax are better. P1, speaking of, makes sense for Xarnax is a lot faster to take than P5.
It certainly does. Unfortunately for Xarnax, we know that the item there is just a tea bag of some indeterminate value, as Toast flew in as a fairy.
Yep.
But there's nothing stopping Xarnax from clearing this palace out and at least evening up the gem count so far.
That's for sure. It's a fairly cool. That is not it for Xarnax.
Interesting level spreads here. We've got 7-3-4 for Xarnax and 5-6 for Toaster. Star, if you're playing this race right now, which of those sets of levels would you rather have?
I probably prefer something more in the middle of those two. Xarnax being extremely aggressive with attack levels, but staying barely low on life. Whereas Toasters prefer going for a more balanced approach. I don't know if I would go all out on attack.
I have to say that I prefer the more balanced approach. The thing about the rando is you never know if the enemy can be anywhere. All levels, I would say, are for the most part equally valuable as you explore. Attack is obviously important for getting rid of bosses quickly. But I like having that extra staying power with life levels and possibly higher magic levels can make some really potent magic extremely cheap to cast. You never know.
There is that as well.
Finds a little digger from a drop and doesn't pick it up.
Let's see, what was I gonna say? No, I just... Okay, so yeah...
Stonehenge finally
Yeah,
for
Stonehenge.
Toast once he gets out of the encounter and goes back in, so there's Toast's boots.
A little late, not that it's gonna hurt him, really. More or less the same spot.
Boots haven't really impacted the progress of the race so far, so that's not a huge deficit for Toast to find them so late. Horsehead down in 2 attacks from Xarnax. I mean, he does have the largest arms on planet Earth right now, and based on his next total, they might get even larger here.
Oh my god, this scene is just being nutty. Oh my. So yeah, he will literally take attack 8 here. And I'm sorry, but attack 8 at 20 and yes, Victor. What else would he need 8,920 points for?
I wouldn't be surprised if Xarnax elects to boost his other levels, which is exactly what he's doing. Attack 8
Which is fair.
Attack 8 is overkill. Attack 7 was already really high, but by doing so, Xarnax was able to guarantee himself a ton of extra experience points for his other levels. So now he's sitting pretty at 767. Like, I think at this point it's indefensible if Xarnax deliberately tries to gain any more levels. 767 is beyond endgame. That is more than what you need.
Oh my god. You never see
If Xarnax
767.
does not eat the next 4 gems, whenever we have him in for an interview, he's going to hear it from me. I'm telling you right now.
Hey, he might just be going for all 8 because, well, why not?
I do like how though using the really high bar for attack 8 to get the others up quite a bit. Like he got 2 or 3 each out of Magic and Life, which was nutty. Here's his pea bag. He isn't even gonna bother picking it up because he doesn't need it.
No, that teabag, there's no way we get him a level. It's just, okay, this isn't the right way, so what's left? Palace
P5.
5? Chances are very good it's going to be in Palace 5.
It's P5 has either the raft or the hammer at this point, I mean.
Exactly.
There's really nothing else that's left. Practically,
It's still possible that the raft itself is inside of Hammer Cave inside Death Mountain, and the hammer is somewhere in the east, leading to Trophy and, well, Lord knows what in that other cave.
Right, but the odds are
I think
decent.
chances are good that we're going to find this raft somewhere inside Palace 5 where both of our runners are right now. With
Indeed, oh my goodness, the color difference is insane.
progression, and only Xarnax having an advantage in levels, but otherwise they're pretty much exactly equal right now. 566 for Toast after that level up, and 767 for Xarnax.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying he's at 767, but he is at the 30-minute mark.
Well, when the drippers are giving you 500 points a shot, you gotta take advantage sometimes.
Yeah, 500-point trippers and 1,000 point P bags are just dropping randomly to boot too, so you really can't go. Even without trying, you're going to get like. Toaster's really not trying for levels, and he's already at 566.
Yeah, that's basically plenty by itself. I mean, attack level 6 does take a significant amount of attacks off of both Barba and Thunderbird.
Oh my
But
goodness,
attack
you saw
level
how...
is perfectly doable. You might lose, 10 to 20 seconds on each of those boss fights, but beyond that, you're pretty much set, at least for regular enemies.
Oh, absolutely. And regular enemies will also give you experience to go towards nice one-up. Will also give you more points towards your insane levels.
Xarnax finds one of the going left dead ends inside Palace 5. I believe there are 5 of those such rooms. One of them has the item. That's the one that everyone's looking for right now. That raft, very crucial early on here in this siege. With so much found and completed on the west already, you need to get over to the east at this point, I have to say, Star.
Oh yeah.
Toast not too far behind Xarnax, finding the same dead end. So just a couple of rooms of separation between the two in terms of exploration here inside of Palace 5 right now.
Yeah, continuing, the ripple effect seems to be a little better. Not really, it's about the same. Sorry, chat, this is kind of layered. Remarkable difference in color, too. It's purple on Toaster and red on Xarnax, which is, I don't know, for me, I usually write down the color of the palace to help keep them straight, because trying to spot the pillars can be annoying at best. But when the colors are as drastic as this, that doesn't help as much.
Well, Toast unfortunately got toasted there, but did pick up the little digger, so still at 3 lives overall. Xarnax finds the item room. Moment of truth. Is this the awaited raft? It is! Raft inside Palace 5 on the west. Nasty sea confirmed, except the experience has been redonkulous, so who cares?
Redonkulous is a pretty good way of saying it, actually. It really has been.
Toaster inside the item room as well, so Toaster's raft is going to be Raftacular. There it is.
It's interesting that Xarnax was first to raft, even though he was like a minute or two behind Toaster into
Well,
into
do
the
remember,
palace.
sir, that Xarnax has not picked up downstab yet.
That is true. But overall, I'll put them pretty even. I mean, Mito's not. Thing. Yeah, Mito's not far from here. Well, no, Rao's not far. Mito's not far from Star, is what it is.
Well, it's up to Xarnax to take the side trip to pick it up without the spell item, or to push the envelope and just try to keep going, even without that downstab. It is not necessarily required, but it certainly makes your life a whole lot easier.
Absolutely. Although, actually, they will be able to pretty much, well, they're hoping they will need to come back to the west, because once they finish P5 here, they've only got they've only got that one hammer block cave and death one left on the last, and that's it.
That's quite true. However, Trophy could still lead to Reflect Spell, which is required. Both of them doing a complete high five here. They're both in dead end room. Amazing Toaster realizes it and takes the up and A. Xarnax is going to fly all the way to the other end as a fairy, realize it's a dead end. So a bit of a shift to lead here, where Toast was following Xarnax in P5, now Xarnax is going to be following Toast. They've basically explored it the exact same way. Xarnax is going left at the start. Interesting here. But I don't think Xarnax has explored all possibilities over there. I don't think Toast has either, now that I think about it. So, could be interesting to see who finds Goomba first. Oh, there it is, a dead end for Toast. So there's a quick restart. So Xarnax now firmly with a 4.5-ish room lead here inside Palace 5, as the hunt for Goomba continues. Such a I don't know why they called him Goomba. It just makes me think of Goombas from Super Mario Bros. But he couldn't be anything further from that. I mean, he has arms and spikes. They should have called him like Bowzo or something.
Yeah, DH Storm, it's been the scene has been, as Jack this here put, redonkulous with love with experience. The Drippers are 500 points, they've been getting 1,000-point P-bags here and there. It's been the most ridiculously generous seed I've seen in a while involving experience. Otherwise they are pretty even. Toaster has downstab, Xarnax has got his that Toaster could have if he wanted to, he just hasn't bothered it.
Well, I just want to say this is the kind of dream seed, at least as far as experience levels go, that I would love to play. I had to fight Thunderbird at attack level 4 a couple weeks ago, if I'm remembering correctly. But there's Goomba for Toaster, so it's time to get her done, son!
Indeed, they've been trading the lead back and forth quite a bit in this palace, but ultimately Toaster is the... And thus we'll have a bit of the lead getting to the east.
Toaster playing with fire a little bit here. A couple of close shaves with that mace from Goomba, but he nails the jumps. Goomba is down for Toast, so Toast is going to be the first to place the 3rd gem here in Palace 5. And I think, Stars, you have to assume at this point that Toast is going to make a beeline for the dock and head over to east, because chances are there's not much more you can do here on the west at this point.
I mean, Spectral Rock is about the only thing I can do on the west, and they really don't feel like digging out Death Mountain for it.
Definitely.
Really don't. So, time for the east.
Exactly. Devil's levels for Toast here, 666, and I would say that is pretty much the standard endgame level for your average Zelda 2 randomizer seed. Xarnax finding Goomba, his attack level 7, he's being extremely aggressive, and wow, that was a really nice Goomba fight.
Yeah, I mean,
good job, Xarnax.
Absolutely.
Quite a bit later, but definitely killed Goomba at least 15 seconds faster than Toast did.
Yeah.
Attack level notwithstanding, it was just the more aggressive approach that really worked for Xarnax, as Toaster picks up the flute on the desert tile over on...
Indeed, which looked to be in this little area a little bit south of start.
Little digger for Toast. We've got Palace 3 or 6 here. No reason not to go in. You've already got the glove, you've got the down stab. You're perfectly set here, Toast. Locked door right away. Chances are reasonable that this is Palace 6, but it's hard to determine from the first room when it's this one, as both 6 and 3 do have this room with a locked door. If there's Medusa heads here, which there are, so this is Palace 6 that Toaster is inside right now.
Indeed. Xarnax close behind, getting the flute, should be also getting to P6 pretty fast.
Xarnax thought about ignoring it, but Xarnax has pick up the little digger, and Xarnax 6 as well. A couple rooms behind Toast. We've just got a couple of rooms of separation on this race. This is really tight. This is great.
It really is, and I don't think Xarnax cares much about the downstab, lack of downstab. So.
P6, however, can be really labyrinthian with all and ways. So it's going to be interesting to see once the path branches off which way they're each going to go. I mean, it's pretty linear so far. You have to go down through the first room, cross the lava with the Medusa heads, and then you're going to have to fight a Revenac. Xarnax getting into a little bit of trouble here. He's able to keep them on the screen so he can keep going. So now Xarnax is going to fight Revenac after Toast takes Revenac out.
Yeah. Very even, very close race so far between these two runners. Xarnax gets Revenac off his horse very easily. Screw down stab, I can just do this. 3-shot Revenac. Attack 7 is
when
being...
your attack is that high, there's no need to try the bouncing stuff. Just get a jackhammer going and then nail him a couple times, and that's all she wrote.
Here we go. The Xarnax is taking full advantage of this seed being absolutely insane levels.
Xarnax took an ill-advised life. Look at this! Barba's just right there. Head to the right and there. You know?
There it is.
Just go with it. Don't even bother looking for the item. Just get it done, right? I mean,
I know. I mean,
what are the odds
there's a very
that
good
the last
chance
thing that you need is going to be gated in Palace 6 at this point? We have most of the required things. The only non-required thing that we don't have is the Reflect spell. So unless the
only
kid is in 6 or an item that leads to the kid is in 6, I think they're both just going to beat Barba and get the hell out of Dodge and explore more of the eastern side here.
Absolutely.
Xarnax, flubbing his jump to enter the room. You can actually manipulate Barba to come out of the far pit as long as you don't lose any momentum getting there, so that's going to slow him down a little bit. His high attack level is going to compensate for it. Only 12 hits needed to beat Barba at attack level 7, assuming vanilla hit points. Looks like Barba had a little bit more than that, but should just be one more hit for Xarnax now. Just got to be careful. Okay, it was a crouch hit, no big deal, but sometimes whenever you're fighting Barba and you land that last hit on a jump stab, your momentum can just unexpectedly carry you into the lava. Great fairy feat by Toaster as Toast makes his way through the long path that can have those those Tin the Tool Man Taylor screens on them. Item cave here for Toast now.
Yep. Other than, and also nice little, really stupidly long valley that has turned up a double in discs. Then
Xarnax taking even more levels. I mean, fairy only costing 25 is definitely useful. Trying to get the fairy feet there it is. A little slower than Toast, but gets it done. Toast, meanwhile, picks up the child inside of that item cave.
Oh yeah.
So that's a good pickup because Reflected's still behind that child. But it's not going to matter too much because right behind him is Xarnax. There's a high five between them over top of that little lizard thing that shoots glowing circles for whatever reason. So
they're called those dolphins.
child momentarily. Amazing.
Yeah, very neck.
With the soul of the spider gets into encounter, but nope, just got it in the nick of time, I guess. So we're not gonna have to play the flute again there. So that's gonna save a little bit of time for Toasty.
Oh, is that a Zora? Seriously? I thought it was Zophos, but then again, I generally can't keep it. Oh yeah, that is a Zora. Pardon me. The northern half of this place is looking mostly useless, although we do spot here a town. That's Runia, convenient!
Very convenient indeed. Definitely gonna be able to pick up the spell from in here with that child in tow. Toast's gonna recover some hit points, queues up the fairy spell, so what's gonna happen here? Toast is gonna... Well, I thought Toast was gonna... I'm confused, but Toast did crouch and cast fairy, so you can go down the chimney as a fairy. Okay, Toast cast fairy that first time to have the magic keep filling, because as long as the magic is filling and not full, it'll just keep filling until it's full inside of the town. So, pretty heads-up play by Toast there to conserve the magic meter and picking up the upstab, which Xarnax is now going to get as well. Very identical path taken between everyone here. So... we can safely say that Toast has about a 20-second lead over Xarnax. Xarnax does have the level advantage by 1, and 1 apiece here. So it's pretty tight overall. It's going to be very interesting. Let's see what the spell is. Remember the magic word!
That's the spell. I finally recently worked out how to tell those text apart so I can check. I don't need to go check the spell book just for that.
Well, Xarnax going to pick up the spell here as well. Toast outside of the town, going to walk into that cancel out encounter.
Yeah.
And
also,
looks like we're back to the raft spot there, isn't it?
Yeah, the northern half of this continent is completely dead. Or northern third, I should say, because P6 is in the middle third, and then everything else is third.
Well, the good news for Toast is that has found a way down on the west coast to keep going, and has found the other item cave here in east. And,
also,
and
Valley of Death is...
Valley, just to the east of that, yes star.
Yep, kind of on the Valley of Death entrance on the western end of the southern third.
Oh, well, the item cave is just a completely unnecessary... I mean, normally I'd be ecstatic to see that, but neither of our racers clearly need 1,000 experience points at this point, I would dare say.
Yeah, also, Xarnax, why?
Xarnax heading back the other way, it's another fairy
The long way, I might add. Where's he going?
Well, that is the edge of the map, so this is the furthest you can get via boots walking. And in fact, since that's not a pass-through cave, this is the only way to get to the Valley of Death in this seed. Yep. So Toast finds this not necessarily right away, but faster than Xarnax, and that could definitely matter quite a bit going forward.
Yeah, also 3 forced encounters. Thank you, game.
3 forced encounters, 3 quick fairy feats, and it's Palace 3 for Toast inside the Valley of Death.
Yeah.
So definitely a good find here because you're not going to have to come back. Great Palace not buried in Valley of Death, so let's get in there. Let's get this thing over with.
It as well.
Just head to the right. if you find the item, it's gravy, but I think at this point you're really just looking for the boss. I mean, the 3 free spell towns in the east are still at large. Any one of those could still have Reflect and or Fire, which might still be linked to Reflect. So,
Yeah, we
plow through, find that boss, and keep going.
haven't are. Xarnax, in the meantime, has found his way to the southern third of things.
And another really fast palace here. All you have to do is head right, and there's...
Deepneck.
Toast electing to go for the bouncy, do the Mario and all that, but Rebanak is down.
And I can't believe I'm saying this, but that is literally 5 gems for him at 48 minutes.
As Xarnax catches sight of Maze Island, which is our last.
Yeah, despite the raft being buried in 5, this has been a seed so far, Star. I have to say here. With,
Well, I mean,
Toast
at least it, yeah, it was a really stupidly buried P5 raft, but it was stupid obvious too that that was their most sensible play left, or
Now,
their
here's a
only
very
play. I think that
interesting decision here by Toast. Toast is going to dig the item out of 3. Perhaps
Terrible
concerned
choice
that
of
it
all the-
might be, I mean, Toast knows that at least the medicine is in the east. But the trophy is still at large. I guess it could be the hammer that leads to the trophy, but Toast seemingly concerned about that reflect spell because at this point that's the only item that you 100%
well,
need to
actually, it's the child that no, he probably know the medicine. Oh, he doesn't know the medicine. Does he know the medicines in the east though? Because that it can't be here, and we know that the trophy's in Death Mountain.
I'm assuming that Toast knows the medicines in the east because Toast went out of his way to pick up Downstab, which Xarnax still has not done yet, I must point out.
Xarnax though was the one who was marked off the medicine in the east actually on his tracker, if I'm looking at it right.
I lost sight of Xarnax for a moment, but Xarnax has gone in a different direction, found Maze Island briefly and left. I think Great Palace was on Maze Island since Xarnax turned around. Palace was just
No, that was
right
P4.
there. It was P4. Okay, well,
Saw a
you're
Fury
gonna turn
Moa.
around if you don't have Reflect at this point, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Fury Moa at the start. That's P4.
Exactly. Thank
And
you
yeah, at
very
this
much,
point-
sir, for covering my blind spot.
Yeah, you do not want to dig P4 when you're reflect from go mode.
It's still entirely possible that the item inside P4 could lead to Reflect. It could be the hammer, which leads to Spectre, which leads to the trophy. You never know. That
is.
said, Toast has fairly quickly found the item room here inside Palace 3. We're gonna see what it is. It's a little bigger.
That's a whammy.
Whammy, I think, would be an understatement at this point. Looked like Toast had a pretty solid advantage by finding the only route to Death Valley early on, but digging up that worthless item, basically the way Xarnax has been going, I think Xarnax, by the time he gets to P3, isn't going to be concerned about the item there, so that's possibly an advantage. There's the fire spell inside Firetown for Xarnax. Hard to say.
Firetown being which town again?
After
Naburu?
right away, it's linked to fairies, so no, we are going to need to find the actual reflect spell wherever that may be.
Yep. Which is still a lot of. We haven't seen either Kasuto, we haven't seen Rudo, we haven't seen the turn-ins of Rudo or Rudo or Mido. Okay, that looks to be in the south middle coast there.
Well, at this point, there's only a 50% chance that reflect is not blocked behind a spell item, so there may be some scavenger done yet. Here's Thundertown for Xarnax, so free spell. Xarnax definitely hoping for reflect. Let's see what it is.
Nope.
Nope. Definitely not.
Yeah, that.
A lot of graveyard tiles, and the graveyard tile southern at the very least are lava. That's not Toast finds his island, finds Palace 4, leaves Palace 4. Looks like Toast is thinking, do I want to look for items on Maze Island, or do I want to go back and look for more towns? Well,
At this point,
tile for Xarnax. Ocean Tile just has a heart container. That's not going to fuel progression here.
no, which means that the remaining item cave on the east is got the medicine, wherever that is. And hey, three-eyed rock exists apparently. That's a thing.
Hardly matters for us at this point, because, well, both players have the flute. You just have to play some lovely music if you want to get inside the Great Palace.
Yeah, this scene's been stupid for experience.
Aw, thanks, Moo fan, saying I have the advantage.
Yeah, 500-point drippers and 1,000-point feedbacks has made this scene stupidly free for both runners in terms of levels. Xarnax went a little harder on them and also rushed attack 7 to get the others up quicker, but it's interesting that he's at 778 and Toaster's at 668.
Well, it's a hunt for a reflect spell at this point. Toast does have the 1 gem advantage.
And it is a 1 in 3 between Nukasudo, Bruto, and Mito for that reflect at this point.
Yeah, Xarnax is just going to try Three-Eyed Rock. We know that it's Great Palace. He didn't because he hasn't found Valley of Death yet. That's the big difference between our two runners right now. Xarnax has a little bit more information in terms of where Reflect isn't, however. So it's hard to say who's concretely ahead here. Because, remember, Toast did dig out that item inside Palace 3, and depending on how long it takes Xarnax to get there, he might not even be interested in looking for that, and Palace 3 was quite quick. So Xarnax, back at the bridge to Maze Island. Not really sure exactly what Xarnax wants to do. There's the water tile for Toaster. This is just a quality of life heart container.
Xarnax, we have seen the spell item hints. We know that Trophies in Death Mountain and Medicine East. We've seen a child already, which turned up, Spellswell, I think? I don't remember it.
Well, at this point, we can safely say that the medicine is the only...
It has to be the only remaining item cave in this, according to Xarnax's personal tracker.
Xarnax hasn't found the hidden items on Maze Island. Neither has Toaster yet, so that's
but
where
it would have saved...
that's where the medicine has to be, but that does not necessarily lead to Reflect.
Oh wait, I forgot that Maze Island East.
That's okay, Stars. I forgive you. Toast gets into Thundertown and finds the disappointing fire spell, which is linked to Fairy. I mean, cheaper Fairy is nice, but not what you need right now.
No, you just want Reflect, because that's it. They're both going to be pretty... because that's all they need at this point.
I do want to point out, very fast and tight execution by both of our racers here. It's not a difficult trick to perform, but it's not necessarily an easier one either. It is a pixel-perfect trick, so you basically have to be able to do those little one-frame taps on your directional pad and or joystick, depending on how you're playing the game. Not the easiest thing in the world, not the hardest thing, but definitely not the easiest thing. And they're making it look pretty easy so far, I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just hunting for, Toaster's finding Three-Eyed Rock that they don't care jack squat for. And it's just, hunt for Reflect. Toaster has a bit of an information disadvantage,
Well, here's the other item. We know that it's guaranteed to be the medicine from Xarnax. So, I think...
Right, first item was a...
Oh, wait, no, it's a heart container. Okay, I'm very confused now. I thought if it said that the hint was the item is in East, it had to be in one of the overworld spots, right?
No, it can be Nukasudo, actually, if that...
Oh, that's right, we haven't found Nukasudo yet. Thank you very much.
Chat was saying that was Hammerlock. I completely missed where the forest cloud in question was, but apparently it's hammerlocked.
So, New Kasuto hammerlocked. So we're on the look for a hammer here. Okay, very interesting.
Chat, mind enlightening us as to where New Kasuto is, because I actually completely missed it.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Well, I think both runners know it because I saw them both walk over the single grass tile. So hammer definitely required to get in New Kasuto, and yeah, thank you for pointing that out because I kind of forgot that if it says it's on east, it could be in that town. I always forget about that town because it's all, you know, green and stuff. Like, what's up with the green town? My town's like brown and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I digress. Now this is where things are going to get really interesting between both runners here. It's going to be a mad dash, perhaps, to find that hammer. Because
yeah, we are currently...
even if the hammer doesn't, or sorry, the medicine doesn't necessarily lead to reflect. Reflect could still be just the spell inside of Spell Town.
It could.
There's also a chance that if either of these guys decide to just completely go off the rails and search for Hammer Cave in Death Mountain, there's the trophy, there's Reflect. So this race is effectively completely up in the air right now.
It is. Xarnax is now in...
Xarnax at least knows the path to K-Rock whenever he has to come back here with that Reflect.
Oh yeah. It's bluish for him, probably a bit more tealish for Toaster. I don't know. It's not a terrible play at this point. I mean, we haven't seen P4, we haven't seen P6, we haven't seen Death Mountain, and there's a hammer-blocked cave on the west, and that's about it for that hammer.
Yep, we've got Toast inside Firetown, so this is just a jump spell. That's unfortunately not going to help Toast out here anyway. Oh, or sorry, this one was the fire spell, while the previous one was the jump spell. I mean, the fire will help out because it is linked to fairy. That's a really cheap fairy spell at 10 NP for Toaster, and I think it was just 8 for Xarnax at Magic 7.
It's something really stupidly cheap. They have all the levels in the world at any rate.
They can fly over everything if they so do.
They really could. They really could. Both of them gave up on levels after they finished the West. It looks... like, they've just been burning gems, they haven't bothered too hard with enemies, they just don't care for levels after... Because by the time they finally found their raft in P5, they'd gotten 10 zillion levels already.
Yeah, experience is not the issue in this seed, but, between the raft being buried deep in 5, and, now the hunt for red, reflect spell, between, like, do you need the hammer for that? Which spell item do you need? Could you maybe just find the Hammer Cave in Death Mountain, find the trophy and there's Reflect? Like, who knows? It's really up in the air at this point. What looked like a light seed early on, which was slightly derailed by that raft in 5, at this point is now looking like, okay, this might be a hundo for one or both of these runners at this point.
It's gonna come down to pure...
trying to ferry around all the Doom Knockers in the world, but gets tagged, unfortunately. Yeah. But now, with life level 8, you can just fly through everything and get the item in 4. It's the cross! That is not the item we were looking for. So...
that's a whammy! Unfortunately, I hope the Toaster might also end up there.
It could very well happen. Well, Star, at this point, we know the hammer
is Death Mountain or P6?
2 locations. The hammer is either inside of Hammer Cave in Death Mountain, or it's inside of P6, and since we only saw 4 rooms in P6 to get to the boss, that's probably not going to be a fun, jaunty little adventure to find.
No, but it is Death Mountain or P6 here at an hour and 2 minutes, which reminds me happy 1 hour, I suppose, a little bit late, but we're gonna be here for a little bit, considering this reflect hunt at this point.
Well, at this point, it's pick your poison, Stars. I have to ask you, would you rather explore all the caves in the world in Death Mountain to find Hammer Cave, Or would you rather dive into P6 and its 30 rooms trying to find the item in there? Which would you be more averse to doing first?
In Xarnax, I think it was Xarnax. Which one of these two explored a pretty solid chunk of the Death Mountain earlier? I think it was Xarnax. Dia might be a more appealing play there. Toaster seems to be heading there at any rate. Or at least he's back on the west, and there's only one thing over here for him, and that's that mountain.
Toaster's trying to head there, but at this point, and there's no way that you can blame him. You find these entrances to Death Mountain in the first, 5 minutes and just go, okay, I'll remember them. But then an hour later, when you actually need to remember them, it's like, which cave was it again? However, Toast at least found the quote-unquote unoptimal entry into Death Mountain because it just leads to a pass-through cave. He's at least got some coastline to work with now, as long as he can slink around that little rock formation on the east side. Maybe he can see more caves than just this one? Yeah,
I mean, we know the giant open area doesn't have the hammer, because Xarnax checked out the giant open area, found no hammer cave, and decided it wasn't worth digging out the side ones, but there it is.
For AmazingToaster, so we'll see what happens here. At this point, it's a race for the unknown that is the trophy, or the unknown but requires more work that is the hammer.
I do think that might have been 100% boots, but yeah, hammer's trails.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting to see what they do here. Like, Xarnax is heading to the raft spot. I think Xarnax is gonna go into Palace 6 here. So I think we're getting to the very determinant point of the race here. They're both going to find an item that will lead to a spell, or lead to an item that will lead to a spell. It's just a matter of which one is Reflect. Well, here's the hammer. Here's the hammer for Toaster. So that's going to open up way more opportunities. And actually, that hammer is guaranteed to be required at this point, because we know Trophy at this point is under Spectacle Rock, and the medicine has to be inside of Spelltown. So Xarnax has to get to Death Mountain and find that hammer. The longer it takes Xarnax to find that hammer, the further he falls behind now. Guaranteed.
Xarnax, not even sure what he's looking for. They both know according to their personal trackers that it's gotta be, that it's Nuka's, there's nothing left of it. It's not that he knows they're 6 near it right now.
Here's the issue for Xarnax. He hasn't found Palace 3 in the Valley of Death yet.
Oh, that's his problem. He's looking for that.
Xarnax is still a potential hammer and or spell item location, and it looks like that's what he's looking for.
It is
over on the east side here, but unfortunately for Xarnax, that hammer was in Death Mountain, and that hammer is guaranteed to lead to either the trophy, or the medicine, or just New Kasuto where Reflect is. It's one of those three. Hammer completely required on this seed.
Absolutely. Xarnax just needs to head south. Okay, yes, he is heading south. This is the right play, because this is the Valley of Death here for him. This cave isn't, though. This cave is definitely not it.
Well, this...
I don't remember what this was, but it's not it.
This is a beneficial play for Xarnax in that it's going to lead to progression, but he's not going to find a spell item or the hammer in either this cave or Palace 3.
Yeah.
So, Toaster comfortably ahead right now, but it all depends on where that spell is. I mean, there's still a chance Xarnax could gain time after finding the hammer eventually over Toast, depending on the order in which he checks things, because right now, Toast is looking for Spectacle Rock, which has the trophy. Trophy might not lead to Reflect. It is not over for Xarnax yet, although he is comfortably behind at this point.
Absolutely, and I expect that whenever Xarnax gets over to Death Mountain, he's probably going to also dig out Spectacle Rock as well, because you don't want to come back.
Maybe, it's hard to say, but Xarnax is going to know. once he quickly clears out the boss here, I don't see a situation in where Xarnax does not try to get the item out of 3 here.
Oh no!
Neither player did get the item out of 6, however. So if Xarnax elects to go to Palace 6 over Death Mountain after full clearing 3, I think he's sunk at that point.
If he goes P6, he's absolutely sunk. If he goes Death Mountain afterwards, he's in a better spot, but still not great, as Spectacle Rock is being trolly as hell for Toaster right now.
Yeah, if Xarnax is able to decide to go to Death Mountain, what I'm presuming is going to be a very Xarnax fight. Yeah, 1 hit to knock him off. Having a little difficulty with the throw knives.
Ooh.
Death. Surprising.
Toaster going through a pass-through to find an absolute dead end. Where the hell is the Spectacle Rock? Seriously. Or rather, where's the pass-through that takes you there? Because, it's Toaster playing Russian... just, take a guess and see which pass-through it is. He's failing at the moment.
Oh, here's the thing. Even looking at the world map, we haven't seen that rock yet. Like,
That's
I would
another
not
point.
be surprised if there's only one cave that leads to Spectacle Rock, and it's just buried in the southwest part of the map that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, Spectacle Rock is being
Mountain
extremely...
haven't we, Star?
What?
I said we've seen a lot of Death Mountain at this point.
We really have. We've seen everywhere that's convenient, at any rate.
Yeah, and now here's where it gets inconvenient. And now I'm wondering if I'm Toaster and I'm seeing all these dead ends that aren't leading to Spectacle Rock, do I think, maybe, do I want to cut my losses and just go knock that tree down and get into Shield Town? Or, not Shield Town, sorry, Spell Town. But as predicted, we do have Xarnax going to go dig the item out of Palace 3, and, well, we know that that's going to be a letdown for Xarnax at the very least.
Yeah, it's a giant whammy of a 1-up. Don't even imagine, Char, it's a 1-up, which is dead useless. Yeah, we've seen a hammer, that's ahead, a hammer cave ahead of the Villa Hammer. It's on the coast somewhere in Death Mountain.
Well,
You're good, Clem.
more options for Toast, but I think he's been there before, and yeah, he has. Yeah,
And I think he's...
I've had
I
enough.
can't blame him at this point.
I've had enough. I'm out of here. So at this point, for Xarnax to get back into the race, we're gonna hope that the trophy leads to Reflect, because Toaster's 100% going to go to Spelltown now.
Absolutely.
Which has a spell and is guaranteed to have that medicine, which leads to another spell.
Yeah. Yeah, that trophy is stupidly buried. That trophy is stupidly buried this seed.
The raft in 5 was bad enough. I mean, as we were saying earlier, the experience is fantastic in this seed, and that certainly helps, but this is faster and faster, looking like a 100% completion seed. I would definitely say, Star, do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. This is a nice start, terrible finish seed.
Absolutely. We're at the hour and 10 mark here, just based on how gone. You'd think both runners would be done by now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but nope.
They're each with 1 gem left to place. Xarnax missing the hammer still. Toaster has the hammer, but did not go to Spectacle Rock. Toaster
Tried his
now
best.
inside of Spelltown. This is going to be a moment of truth here, folks. This could be what decides this race. If Toast ends up with Reflect, or the medicine leads to Reflect that we now know is at the far end of this town, hidden behind the spell. This
is not a Jork seed, actually. This is a gas-powered Pogie. Pokey being a new restreamer, who is known in Wind Waker randomizer communities. Although, yeah, Pokey, you managed your role. They're quite a fun one for your first ever bars. Nice start, absolutely terrible finish. Alright, we're seeing a spell here for Toaster. What is it? Oh, that's a whammy! That's life!
Meanwhile, Xarnax with a pretty heads-up play here inside Palace 6! No! But it's gonna cast Fairy, Retreat, and try the Medusa Head Lava Pit room again. Well, we know that Toast is going to pick up the medicine here. Guaranteed medicine inside of this weird, very, very tall door.
Yeah.
You know Toast is going to go back and turn it in right away. Moment of truth. Is this going to be Reflect? If it's not Reflect...
It's time to go back to Death Mountain.
You are going to have to find some insane spectacle rock. Toast at least has an advantage on the Death Mountain exploration there, but we'll see.
I mean, Xarnax being in P6 means that, and Toaster having explored everything remotely convenient in Death Mountain. And even a whole lot of the inconvenient stuff, like he tried, he really, really did find that Spectacle Rock, but just wasn't having any kind of luck with it. Spectacle Rock is being incredibly bad today. I feel like Xarnax saw most everywhere in Death Mountain, and still I don't think they did yet.
Well, Toast has cashed in the medicine. This is the moment of truth. Is it going to be Reflect?
No!
It is!
Oh, it is, never mind.
I mixed up Reflect and Shield.
Finally.
Hidden behind Spell, hidden behind Hammer in Spell Town. Oh my lord, what a trek. Just a magic container for Xarnax. Well, Xarnax knows where he has to go now, but... Well, Toast very much out in front here, having completed the fetch quests to get that Reflect spell. Now, Toast looks like he's making his way back to Maze Island. I don't think this was the fastest way to get there, but Toast kind of has all the time in the world right now.
This is not the
probably
fastest.
doesn't know it. If I'm Toast, and I'm, as Toast is, basically 100% at this point to find the Reflect spell, I'm probably not feeling too good about my chances.
No, you're not. But at the same time, you also know your opponent couldn't have done much of any better.
Yeah, we do know that Toast has, at this point, at least a 10-minute lead over Xarnax. But when you don't know that, you might be pressured. You might, be rushing things. You might make a couple mistakes. You never know.
I mean, Xarnax, though, has to go back to Death Mountain.
Is what I'm saying, but to not pick a favorite in Toast at this point would be foolish. Toast is comfortably ahead of Xarnax at this point.
Absolutely. Because Xarnax hasn't even gotten back to Death Mountain yet, is going through Saria. As Toaster gets back to Maze Island. I think this was a fine routing, to be honest, to get here. Maze Island wasn't the nicest of places.
It was a quick path to K-Rock, for sure. As long as you follow the meta, I think that was the dead end that Xarnax found. So, even though Xarnax knows exactly where K-Rock is, as long as Toast follows the meta, it's gonna be a relatively short dungeon at, if I recall correctly, only 6 rooms?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, we do have Xarnax in Death Mountain. Xarnax probably not too happy with the seed right now, having 100% of absolutely everything else.
Oh, yep. You can check and see it, but we can see his personal tracker.
The good news is that Xarnax is on the coast, and we know that the Hammer Cave was basically right there. So yeah, not too long to find the Hammer Cave for Xarnax. That'll help him out a little bit. He's still got work to do if he's going to catch up to Toast here.
Especially if he decides he's really going to 100% Death Mountain and the game by digging up his trophy out of here.
Well, if you're playing the odds, I think you go to Spelltown rather than waste time looking for Spectacle Rock, because you're guaranteed to get 2 spells out of Spelltown, whereas chasing that trophy down, wherever it may be, is only 1 spell.
I mean, on the other hand, he might not want to...
At this point, I think there's like a 0% chance that Xarnax doesn't feel like he's behind, because he's already 100%ed the seed to this point. He's gotten everything he absolutely can get. But that said, not immediately up and aiming at the hammer, so it looks like Xarnax is going to take what we know is a futile excursion to look for Spectacle Rocks. So, Toast's speed, despite Xarnax quickly finding the hammer comparatively, is probably going to keep growing from here.
Absolutely, because we know it is one long hunt for trophy, wherever it is.
Like I said, it's probably buried at the end of one exact cave in the southwest portion of Death Mountain, because I think
it has to be somewhere down in the southwest. I think we just about everything else.
Yeah, and you know, not even including the places that we just couldn't outright access from boots or caves. We have not seen that one boulder, that one lone boulder, anywhere on this Death Mountain map. As Toast enters Great Palace, takes an up and A to refresh magic life and lives, and well, Toast is on the push to the finish here.
Yeah, unfortunately, we know that Spectacle Rock is it is one pass-through cave somewhere in this whole entire mountain that leads to Spectacle Rock. Xarnax is having a serious think. Okay, he's leaving. That's good.
He's had enough of that. He wasted less time on it than Toast did, but Toast still comfortably ahead. Xarnax very clearly making a beeline for the East Continent now. Just remember that Reflect was not in Spelltown. Xarnax is still going to have to go back to the west and pick up Reflect from Fairytown, and maybe we'll finally see Xarnax actually pick up that downstab while he's there.
He might at that point.
Well, we've had a few junctures already in Great Palace, at least. The meta is to always go elevator if you can't go right, and otherwise go right, so I guess we'll see, you know, if Toast sticks to the meta, which he should at this point, even though he doesn't necessarily know that he's ahead. But it'll be interesting to see if Xarnax at this point, having 100%ed everything so far, decides to take any gambles on Great Palace, thinking, I'm behind, I have to try to go left and hope for the best.
Alright, because Xarnax is undeniably behind at this point, having gone P6 and over Death Mountain. That's the biggest difference between those two, really, at this point, is P6 versus Death Mountain. And some other things, but ultimately P6 it just didn't help. That and the search for P3 and P3 in the Valley of Death. P3 at least trying to find P3 at least is just a routing difference in how they chose to do the Eastern Continent, but kind of sad.
Well, it's understandable. Anytime you have that one tile of ocean at the far edge of, well, either side of the continent that you can walk on to get to something, sometimes someone finds it right away, and then the other player just might look at that and go, yeah, I can't go that far over. But that wasn't the case tonight. Xarnax just simply wasn't in the area. It's not like he had any difficulty finding Palace 3. He was just completely
in the area.
Wrong trees elsewhere.
Yeah, it's just a routing difference in Randomizer being the Randomizer, really. It's just kind of unfortunate. At least as far as that goes. There's life for Xarnax. Oh, looking at Among Us.
It's a video game.
It is. Can't argue with that on that. Can't argue with you. I can't argue with you. Wow, words on that.
You could argue with me. I'm just a master debater.
I just don't feel like it. I also don't like to get arguments on comms.
Yeah, it's best to avoid those, but in my experience, I don't think I've ever experienced any while commentating or watching races. I think most people that are allowed to commentate these races are at least reasonably mature, is my hope anyway.
Yeah.
We've got AmazingToaster inside the Jackamus room, named after me. Because, well, sometimes you just have to go down in the Jackamus room and it'll win you a race, even whenever going to the right is the meta play.
Yep.
And look at that! Just as I said it, you want to go down in the Jackamus room, because that's a dead end.
You took it successfully today? Nice, Chromaticalism.
Here's a rare room inside Great Palace whenever we have that short. That's not a room that you see very often whenever Short and GP is on.
Yeah.
And the elevator is leading up to one of the broken bridge rooms. So we've got a bit of a labyrinth going on here.
Oh my goodness, yeah, GP is being controlly.
Well, now we have a paperclip room, which lets you go down. Just mind the blue foca. Those are awful.
It's not the
Now we're
worst I
back
do.
over to the right here. And I know. A lot of you folks that maybe aren't super familiar with this randomizer would say that Toaster has found an infinite loop. Well, I just need to point out now that Dungeons in Zelda 2 randomizer do not adhere to Euclidean geometry.
No. They do not.
Oh, and
Oh, map?
Underbird for Toaster. So, well, downstab definitely required now. Comfortably.
Yeah, Xarnax thankfully did pick it up. Yeah, this GP's been pretty wacky, but yeah, no, Euclidean geometry does not exist, period, in Z2R, Jack. It's not just in dungeons, but in the whole overworld. Have you seen those pass-through caves?
They just exist in, a separate dimension than the overworld that they are splayed upon. Ooh, Toast taking a few hits here, but is able to clutch it out, one hit away from death. Even at life level 8, on average, Thunderbird can do 2 full containers to you, so clutch victory for Toast there. Toast definitely knows that he's on the right path, is forced to take a drop right away. However, where things get slightly interesting here is that we've only seen a dead end from another drop. There's other drops remaining, and assuming I'm counting right, there's still 2 possible elevator junctions, so it's not going to be a clear path to Dark Link, most likely. But it is looking good for Toast. But no, there it is, okay. So a couple of those left directions that Toast did not took would have been a gigantic loop. So here's Dark Link for Toast.
Hey, VXR, Thunderbird is forced to block Dark Link in these flags, which it does. And you're good, VXR. Yeah, I see mostly over in Creative Time Randos, I remember. You like them in the Z2R, which different beast from OTR.
Well, a great pattern for Toast, not that he particularly needed it at this point. Dark Link, not aggressive with jumps and not wasting a lot of time standing at a standstill far away. It's done. It's over. Toast, it's your victory. You're victor tonight. With a victory. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. A victor with a victory. Yeah, I'm just trying to save face. Don't mind me. With an official time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 54 seconds. Get out your 7th letter of the alphabet twice for Toast. And
GG's, 127.55, not bad considering they basically 100% of the seed.
well, Toast didn't 100% it, but Xarnax basically Xarnax 100%ed the seed. Let's not kid ourselves here. The only thing Xarnax did not find was Spectacle Rock.
And that wasn't for a lack of trying.
Dig an item early out of 4, and did not dig an item out of 6. That is the main difference. However, a couple of things on Xarnax's end went better than Toast's. So, depending on where that all-important hammer was, there was a point where it could have gone either way. However, the seed does not play favorites, so Toast is your victory tonight. And even though the finishing time might not be as close as we thought it might be, just remember that at about the 50-minute mark, these guys were basically in the exact same rooms inside Palace 6, fighting Barb and whatnot. It just went in completely different directions from there and was really, really close for much of the race.
Yep. Also, we have been Scatterbrains. Hi, Toaster. GG's.
Hey, that was a seed.
Kind of mean end. Nice start. Stupidly mean end.
The XP was nice, at least.
Oh my god. Xarnax was at Xarnax was at 767 at the half-hour mark.
Did he
rushed
farm in 2 or
attack
something?
7.
Oh, okay.
He rushed attack 7 and then dumped a gem and got the others way up at that point, and that pretty much stopped.
Okay.
So yeah, 767. He's currently at 8. He's now at all 8s.
Yeah, I just once I saw how crazy the XP was with the 500 and 1,000 point bags all over the place and the 500 point dripper magos, I was just like, okay, let's just start taking levels. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I know this is a bit of a roundabout path in GP.
Yeah. So Xarnax here dug out P6 and P4, trying to find hammer, and failed.
Well, yeah, I decided to go after the shrine just for the fact that if the trophy was there and that was reflect, then it was go from there. So I just checked that, and then I tried to look for the rock for a little while and never saw it. So I went.
We didn't
back.
see it either. It's like one stupid pass-through cave that leads to the southwest corner or something. Is probably where that. No. Xarnax tried finding it. Had it found us. Bad.
Yeah, it was not a. It wasn't a good. Wasn't a good death mountain to try and. It wasn't. It was fine for finding the hammer. It was just if you tried to find Spec Rock, it was. I don't know where it was.
You pretty much had to look in every pass-through cave in the whole entire place or something. I felt it was stupid.
Yeah, and then at some point I was just.
Sorry, don't mean to cut the interview off here, but Xarnax just unfortunately finding a loop back to the top of the L7's room there. He is in the Jackamus room now and is heading down. We know that this is the way to get to Thunderbird and Dark Link, so probably just a few more minutes for Xarnax to finish up now.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably having a better GP by the fact of taking that drop.
Yeah, no, Xarnax actually dipped Death Mountain early. Went through like that giant open area, found Jack all there, and left. Didn't bother digging any further, so he had to double dip for the Hammer Cave. Seriously considered trying to dig out Spectacle Rock and...
Well, I apologize, that's my fault, because Jack is the name. Ooh, that motherfucker. Xarnax just gonna cast the cheap fire into Fairy and say, "Nuh-uh, I don't want nothing to do with you, sir."
Yeah, I finally figured out, oh wait, I have 2 spells that I can get by going over to, get the Nukasuba spell and the medicine so that I could check both of those spells. So that was a better use of my time at that point.
Yeah, it was... On the one hand, you don't necessarily want to come back to Death Mountain. On the other hand, the Spectacle Rock is incredibly bad. Yeah, Nukasuba was the better of the 2 plays there.
Well, Xarnax has found Bird. With max level of 888, you have to think that this is going to be over pretty quickly here. And we do know from watching Toast finish that Dark Link is just 3 rooms away. Xarnax even going for some whirlwind attacks here, looks like. Not having much luck landing them, but Thunderbird is down on only 3.5 passes, so pretty quick fight.
Yep. Also chat saying, sorry Trails, but Xarnax lost. You'll need to vacate your home by the end of the weekend.
Oh, can
yeah,
I
the seed
live
was...
there? Because that sounds cool.
Yeah, the seed was decently trolly to you both. You guys were actually pretty much in sync through much of the later part of the Western Continent in like P5 and then into P6. Like, you guys were just trading the
They killed Barba like 15 seconds apart. The race was so close. But then once the East was fully available to both of you, I mean, you both went into 6 and killed Barba right away because, well, it was right there. Why not? Xarnax elected to explore the continent.
You found P3 in Valley of Death.
Yeah, found P3 very quickly. And
it took Xarnax a little while. Xarnax spent a little while finding P3s. One of the other things that cost him a bit of time.
Well, folks, feast your eyes on this. We have a legitimate final battle here. Xarnax is going to defeat Dark Zelda without that hiding in the corner trick here. Always nice to see this. I think this is a sign of good sportsmanship in these groups. If you know that you've already lost, you go into the Dark, whichever character you are, fight and do it legitimately. I think that's the right play to make there. Just for the record, for those of you who play Iron, the Iron Knuckles official name, which Dick Shake would not include in the randomizer, is Anal Bag. Oh, look at that! What a stylish finish for Xarnax. Throwing that spell, landing on the platform, accepting the Triforce in midair about 12 feet underneath their body.
Hey, it works. Finishing in style.
See, this is why I love this community. When someone loses a race, they're just like, no, I'm not just going to say, well, whatever, I lost the race. No, I'm going to finish, and I'm going to finish in style. And that is what Xarnax did. Xarnax is not your victor tonight, but he is just as deserving as 2 seventh letters of the alphabet as Amazing Toaster was 10 minutes ago. So please, please, get out your GGs for Xarnax.
Absolutely. GG's 137.06. We'll see if we can get him in for an interview. His comment in race time is that was. It was. I won't deny it. That was a pretty dumb one. Should be shortly. Hey, speaking of, and there he is. GG's our next.
Thank you very much, GG Toaster.
GG.
Oh, that was a seed.
Yeah, it was. And
How
thanks,
about
nothing.
that? How about that hammer?
I knew, man, I knew really early, or I had a feeling at least really early that it was going to be important. But I had no clues on where to look for it.
Did you look for the trophy at all after you got the hammer?
I started to. I think I went through one cave and then I realized I had seen, like, I had only seen one, like, the first area had like 6 or 7 caves and everything else looked really segmented.
Yeah, I looked for several minutes and then I was like, wait, no, I've got 2 spells on the other
Exactly.
side of this.
Xarnax, you did give up on the Spectacle Rock search much quicker than Toaster did. The way that myself and Star figured it is that there was only one cave that led to Spectacle Rock, and it was somewhere in the southwest corner of the Death Mountain.
Wow.
That was basically the only place that we didn't see between the two of you. It was such a
It was
labyrinth.
dumb.
It honestly, for us, it would have been amazing if that trophy did lead to Reflect. But fortunately for Toast, at least, it did not. Xarnax, you
might have been Toast.
got the item out of 6 rather than choosing to go to Death Mountain, whereas Toaster chose to go to Death Mountain rather than digging the item out of Palace 6. That was the main difference. Like,
that makes sense.
I would recommend just to see how close you guys were. Like, watch the first 45 to 50 minutes of this. Like, you guys both placed your 4th gem defeating Barba like no more than 15 seconds apart. It was really, really close in the early going until East Exploration kicked in and you went off in different directions. And unfortunately for Xarnax, despite your inflated levels compared to Toast, you explored in basically the wrong way, which is something you can't predict because it's a randomizer.
Exactly.
Yeah, Toaster found P3 a hell of a lot earlier than you did. Pretty much found it right after P6. You took a long time to find that.
Yeah, that was absurd.
I kind of took the rest of that lap around the upper 2/3, and then I was like, wait a minute, there's a little more down here, and I found P3.
Yeah, I was looking for caves. It didn't register to me. I saw a hint saying the medicine was in the east.
Yeah.
And it didn't register to me that could be inside New Kasuto until those were the only 2 spots I had left.
Yeah.
We forgot too.
And you know what, Xarnax? You're not the only one that thought that, because there was a point where I was convinced that it was on Maze Island because I completely forgot about New Kasuto myself while calling the race. You're not the only one that made that mistake tonight, my friend.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
did
not
too.
sure. I think if it's on Maze Island, it says Maze Island in the hint.
That's what I
thought. Lies in a Maze, I think, is the...
Yeah, so
the
I was
hint.
looking for the second Eastern P-Bag Cave, which ended up being a P-Bag.
Yeah.
But you didn't even bother picking up at that point because you were 788. What's the point,
And
right?
with a gem to place still, too.
Sorry, Xarnax. One thing that I said I was going to pick on you a bit about, after you declined Attack 8 and leveled up the rest of your stats, you continued to gain levels. I don't particularly know why, because you could have just ate those gems. I said I was going to do it, and I'm doing it right now.
Yeah,
Why didn't you eat the gems? They're so tasty.
I still needed, like, those levels came in handy. I was still dying. I'm pretty well convinced that it's very rare where eating a gem saves time.
I am just going to point out that you didn't have the downstab until the 11th hour of this race, so that probably contributed to that just a bit.
Maybe a little. I made a point to not go back. Like, I felt behind, especially after exploring so much of the East. And I was like, I'm not going back into Mito until I've got the medicine.
And I totally respect that. I would have played it the exact same way, honestly. I just would have eaten more delicious gems, especially since there were so many tasty Firemancers worth 500 points from the
Oh my
Drippers.
god. You were at 767 at 30 minutes, Xarnax, which is nuts.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous.
Or as Jacobus puts it, redonkulous.
Yeah, it was absurd. Those Drippers, I had investing like 2 minutes into those. Like, you will save more than 2 minutes from the combat, magic, and death and life saves.
Oh my god,
There's no question in my mind that grinding that was the right move.
Not going to lie, based on how plentiful the experience was, myself and Star were thinking that this was going to be a much quicker seed than it ended up being, but Wrath buried in 5, Hammer being buried in Death Mountain, which led to Spell Town, which led to Medicine, which led to Reflect. Bit of a fetch quest there, wasn't it?
Yeah,
don't say.
I was looking at it. I was like, oh, this is going to be like a 110 or something if I find Reflect soon. And
Right? Yeah.
I didn't find Reflect.
No.
Oh my god.
I want to go back to what you said before the race, Toaster.
Oh, I had a terrible seed last night. I had to go back and forth east and west. That took 2 hours to do that one.
Yeah.
That one was ridiculous.
I was going to say, this one's probably still better.
Yeah, this one is still better than that one.
Yeah, the last race I commentated involved a rather nasty mess of, you had to dip P4 without Reflect, and then dip P1 in Valley of Death, I think it was, to get magic jars. The last one was one of P6, 5, or Hammer Cave, all of which sucked. To get your magic jars for Nukasuda for a spell item for Reflect for Goma. That was another really nasty seed. This wasn't quite that level of terrible, but it wasn't nice.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It was just, I mean, I felt unlucky at some points, but I knew like the Raft being in 5, I didn't feel too far behind because I knew that was the last place he was going to go to, most likely.
You guys
Yep.
got it at like the same time. You guys were neck and neck in
I think Xarnax
5.
got the Raft maybe 5 seconds before Toaster. You guys were basically in the same room inside Power 5 the whole way through.
This will be fun to watch back for sure.
Yeah.
It will be a good one to watch back. Probably more for Toast than Xarnax. But that's just how she goes. Toaster, congratulations. You are onto the brackets. You're 3-1 right now.
Thank you.
You still have another race next week to improve your seeding, so best of luck to you in that. Xarnax, you're currently 2-2. You're going to have to win your next one, and I'm just going to say, buddy, assuming that I win my race against Raikou Rider in the next couple of days there, we might be facing off against each other next week. So
why do you have 2 losses?
Because I'm apparently not the best at this game anymore. Other people played it and practiced and got better, whereas I was just like, no, I'm good. I can just do whatever. But man, you guys have put the hours in. You've put the reps in. Now
somebody asked last week.
I don't know.
Somebody asked me last week how I felt going forward, and I was like they said you've got 2 or 3 races left, 2 races, 2 opportunities to get into the brackets. How do you feel? And I'm like, I'll be lucky. There's too many good people out there. I mean, I'm gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
But
exactly.
the
There's a
one
lot of-
one question I had about this race,
Mm-hmm.
like Toaster, how long did you wait to look for the hammer in 4?
I didn't. No, I decided
Toaster
to.
never attempted.
Doug
to
4.
Oh man.
Yeah, I decided.
Man, that could have paid off big if it had.
I decided to go. I decided to go to Death Mountain because if the trophy was there, and that led to Reflect,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was full dig shake. So
Gotcha.
God.
I think
If they had
I
been
knew that the trophy
trophy.
couldn't be in there. Maybe
yeah,
maybe
I
not.
still had what 6 and 4 that I could have dug for items at that point.
Gotcha.
Well, I just want to say both of you ignored the little diggers in a couple of different places, so shame on both of you. I think we probably got to wrap this up soon, so we'll do this in order. Toast, any final thoughts on the race tonight?
No, just good to have the third win out of the way.
Yeah, GG's and congrats on moving to brackets, and good luck to all 3 of you, to be honest, for the next round.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Stars. Xarnax, anything else you want to add before we finish things up here?
I don't believe so. I heard this was Poggy's first restream, so appreciate you volunteering your time and hope everything went smoothly. But yeah, thanks for all the volunteers.
Yep. Thanks to everybody who does that.
Well, thanks to both of you for putting on a very entertaining show for us tonight. Signing off, I am Jackamus Wedge. I have been joined by Star1468, Jinxie Girl on the tracking, and as mentioned, Pogi doing the restream. And I just want to leave you with something completely different because sports are weird. Let's go Raiders!
What?
Yeah. Everyone.
So anyway.
GG's. And have a good night.
So thanks to everybody who joined us. Runners GG's. Congratulations to Toaster. As well, thanks a lot to Jinxie, who helped me out set up everything else. This was my first restream, and it was my first roll seed for Z2R, so I'm not sorry.
Good start.
So thanks to everybody once again. I think this was the last of Zelda Speedruns for tonight. So thanks for joining me. Thank you for your patience to everybody, to all the volunteers and runners. I hope you all have a great night. And yeah, that's it for today. We'll see ya.
Bye.